never talked to the boys that sat on the benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Live from the garage. It's 863 Seminole TV. It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the Gat Damn Truth. I figured I'd get some fresh air today and talk a little bit about these Seminoles, y'all. So I hope everybody's doing good on this Wednesday. We had a Monday stream. We got a Wednesday stream, man. So we out here. We out here, man, living the good life. Living the good life. Today, on today's lovely episode 85 of The Hangover. We got some interesting targets on campus this weekend. 2 safeties. One for sure. One safety for sure. I don't know about the other safety who's the JUCO. I actually forget his name. I don't know if he's visiting this weekend. I know they offered him. But Key, safety at a UAB, who's a Tallahassee native, is apparently taking like a 3-day visit this weekend. And then the one, he's the most needed guy. And then we also have a major wide receiver target that everybody should be aware of visiting this weekend, I think, for 2 days. So 2 big visits this weekend, man. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about what, the impact of those 2 key visits can have on this Florida State team. And then, of course, well, I won't say of course, this conversation has kind of sparked on Twitter, and I wanted to give my input on said conversation. That is Jordan Travis, and where exactly does he rank in the draft next year? I think we all kind of know who the 1 and 2 is for next year's draft, at least as of May 2023. But where does Jordan Travis fit in there? Is he a first, second, third? Where does he fit? I want to have a real conversation about this. I've seen a lot of wild speculation, so to say. So we're gonna dig deep. Well, I won't say deep, but we'll dig in it a little bit, man. We talk a little Jordan Travis and exactly where does he stack up pro-wise, not college-wise. I think college level. I think you got a top 5 quarterback in the country and at the college level for sure. But where does he stack up as an NFL prospect? And we'll get into all of that. But before we do all of that, y'all already know what business is. My bad, just got a text message and I am on my phone. Y'all already know what the business is, man. Before we get into anything, let's pay these bills. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Share the video, man. Let everybody know we are live on a Wednesday night, episode 85, The Hangover. The way too early Jordan Travis conversation and some interesting prospects that's going to visit the campus this weekend and what they can mean for Florida State if they're able to land them. Like, subscribe, share. And we hit a roll call here in a few. Coming to you shortly in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Truth be told, Peter Shields, member of the 863 Tribe. Dan Squatch. J.L. Roper. Tyler Hedden, member of the 863 Tribe. Jeff. Lewis P. Damian Adams. FSU Rose. Montre. Island Boy. Motivated. Dedicated. no power. I think that's all that's in the comment section as of right now. But that is that's cool. Go ahead and make sure you shout out when you join. Let's not waste no more time. Kerry Watkins in the building. All right. Wide receiver. Well, no. Let's get the key first, man. Jalen Key, I believe it is. I'm not on my computer, so if I get names wrong, y'all just correct me in the chat because y'all know who I'm talking about. Jalen Key, VJ in the building. Go Knicks, by the way, VJ. Jalen Key in the building. UAB safety. This is a huge deal for a few reasons. Well, two main reasons. You need a safety. I don't know if any one of y'all have been paying attention, but Florida State has two legit safeties on this roster. Conrad Hussey isn't here. He's a freshman anyway. I don't know how much you want to depend on him. And, you have Shaheem Brown. You have Akeem Dent. You've lost Sam McCall, Sidney Williams, McClellan, Jamie, all these safeties, man. Omarion Cooper, who you moved to safeties, gone. Travis J, gone. All these safeties that you had just a year ago, out the door. You don't have a deep safety room. If you're a Florida State fan and you want this team to compete for that playoff, you should be concerned about the safety position. You should be concerned about the depth of the safety position. Hell, you should be concerned about the starters. Look, I like Shaheem Brown as much as the next guy. We have yet to see Shaheem Brown actually start for a consistent amount of time. We expect him to be good. We expect him to make the transition, but it's unproven. It's a question mark. We don't know. And Key is massive need. And it makes me feel pretty good about the caliber of player he is because look at his offer list. Bama, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Florida State, and I might be missing one other team. But when you have of Alabama and Ohio State trying to get your services, it tells me you're looking at a quality football player here. You're looking at a pretty quality football player. And I don't know what has to happen on this 3-day visit. He's a Tallahassee native. I don't know what you got to do. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know what other visits he's got scheduled. Oregon, okay, that's the other team. Those are big. Those are Dan Lanning, man. He recruits defensive players big time, right? I don't know what you got to do, FSU. I don't. You can't let him leave that campus without some type of commitment. That safety from Michigan is already committed to Florida, and I didn't want him anyway, Todd. I'm just being honest with you. He's already committed to Florida. But you have to get this guy. He is a massive position of need. We need – again, man, that safety position is a huge question mark, bro. I like Akeem Dent. I think Akeem Dent is where he's at, right? I don't know if he's All-American caliber. Not even sure if he's All-ACC caliber, but he's a quality player. He's been in the system a long time. He at least knows what he's doing. Again, Shaheem Brown has the biggest upside of the two. But this is his year where he's finally going to get the full-time starting position. Don't know how that translates, right? Reminds me of a guy by the name, you guys might remember a guy by the name of Nate Andrews, who was a very quality, he was really good when they were rotating him because he was playing around a bunch of great players. Nate Andrews was. And then when he became like a full-time guy, he wasn't the same player, right? I don't know if Shaheem Brown is, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm concerned in this safety position. I am deeply concerned. Key's a must get. He cannot leave campus without you got to convince. If he goes and visits the Bamas and the Ohio States and the Oregons, bro, I don't know. I don't know. Key's a huge one. We got to get him, got to land him, and he'll be here this weekend. And we need that, man. We need that. I don't know how good he is, but the fact that those other teams are interested in him tells me he's some type of quality player, even though he went to UAB. And he does have tape against LSU where he actually looked very good. So absolutely need to get him. The other guy is Coleman, man. Coleman, Michigan State wide receiver, has hit the transfer portal. And as we go, hush it up. Hey. Hush it up. As we go from a position of need, we go to a position of luxury, so to speak. And I was of the impression, honestly, like, I don't know if we need a wide receiver, but this is why I'm okay with going after Coleman. And I kind of said this much after the spring game. And I hear you, Super Harold, like we don't need any more wide receivers. But I'm gonna make the case for Coleman because I actually think this is one that they should pursue. And I kind of alluded to this after the spring game. Portier did his thing. Tron did his thing. Looked great. But you got to take it with a grain of salt. Go back, watch the spring. All the big catches that Tron had, I want you to go look and tell me who was covering him. You probably can't name the player because they were a walk-on. Okay, so that's not a knock on Tron, but you got to take that performance with a grain of salt when people that covered him weren't even going to see the field. You feel me? It's not like he was doing that against Fentrell Cypress or Ronaldo Green. Okay, he's doing this against Jaden Floyd, and hell, I don't even know who. I think number 47, if I remember that number correctly, was on the one-handed catch. Bro, nobody knows who those guys were on defense when Tron caught those passes, if we're just being honest and being fair about it. You got to take Coleman because I believe Coleman is a legit number 2 guy. I'm convinced that Coleman is perfect opposite of Johnny Wilson. I think they complement each other so well. Coleman brings a little different level. He's also a big receiver. I believe Coleman's a 6'4" guy, but he also has a different gear, I think, than Johnny has, where he can get a little bit more vertical than Johnny does. Will you hush it up? Y'all ain't getting out the cage. I think, as excited I am for Tron, let me paint the picture. Let me paint the picture for y'all like this. It's pretty obvious to me with the fact that they're even recruiting Coleman. Florida State's not completely satisfied with what they're seeing from that receiver room. Let's just call it what it is. I know everybody's been so excited about, the possibility that Darian Williamson is this great player. And Mike Norvell said in the spring that this guy has elite potential. Well, if he really was this elite potential guy, and maybe he does have this elite potential. But what I always say about Williamson, the best ability is what? It's availability. Darian didn't participate in the spring game. Last year, he was plagued with an injury. He's been plagued with injuries throughout his college career at this point, guys. Darian Williamson is not, if he was, I don't think they would be pursuing Coleman. I think Darian Williamson is either not healthy or they can't rely on him. They can't rely on him to be that, other number 2 receiver or the guy that you can rotate at 1 or 2, where Coleman now comes in and fills that void. You still got Tron. Tron's still going to get plenty of snaps. Tron's still going to be in the rotation. But if you don't get Coleman, I want to ask you, what does that leave with just Tron and Johnny? I don't think Hakeem's ready. I think most people will agree Hakeem's not ready yet. We just talked about Williamson. The other receivers on the roster kind of don't fill the same role. right? When we're talking about Ja'Kai. I saw somebody mention Ja'Kai and Winston. Those are good players. They don't fill the same role as Darian Williamson. They don't fill the same role as Johnny Wilson or Kentron Portier. You're talking slot guys. You're talking Ja'Kai and Winston in the slot doing their damage. Well, we're talking big guys on the outside, 6'4", 6'3", 6'7". Okay, so we're talking different skill sets here. And you don't have a guy outside of Hakeem that's probably ready for that. Jacobs probably is another slot guy. You got Goldie Lawrence, but that's a freshman who didn't get a spring, so you can't depend on Goldie. So I think Coleman's a necessity. I don't think he's as big. Obviously, he's not as hey, shut it up. Obviously, he's not as much of a priority as Key is, but yeah, man, I'm okay with Coleman because if you're gonna take a guy, you take a guy that's a difference maker. I think Coleman is a legit difference maker because I think he brings a different dynamic opposite of Johnny that I don't think you got. Right? I don't think you have that on the roster right now. I don't think you have a difference maker like that on the roster right now. That's opposite of Johnny Wilson. Okay, you're not bringing Coleman to be the primary guy. Potentially, you never know, right? Coleman could go number one in Johnny, but whatever. That would be a good problem to have. So those are the two guys, man, that's gonna visit this weekend. What are y'all thoughts on these guys? Let's see. Jeff says, let's start here. Jeff says, are we need a safety? I wouldn't mind if I take 2 or 3. Coleman receiver, this is icing on the cake if we get him. Oh, no, we definitely more than just Key. Let me be clear about that. Let me be very clear about our DB room. Key's just one piece. We need about another 2. I would take 3 DBs at a minimum. That's just me, though. This feels like the Mims situation. I don't let him leave. Super Harold we don't need any more wide receivers. Again, I don't think Williamson is what we were led to believe. And maybe he is, but obviously they don't have faith in his health. So if they did, I don't think they would be pursuing Coleman. He's definitely a take. Panama says, I'm concerned about the safety position, but at the same time, I feel like we have an upgrade with Pat, which pay dividends on the. Yeah, but you still got to have players. I don't disagree with you, Panama, right? But you got to have players to develop. Right now, what safeties are there to develop? You can have the greatest coach of all time. He's got to have players to work with. Right now, that safety room is bare bones dry. Seminole Zach says, you don't think Ja'Kai can be that guy or Winston? I think they fill a different skill set. I think they fill a different role. If you're asking me, do I think I can line Ja'Kai or maybe Winston? But do I think I can line Ja'Kai or Winston right opposite of Johnny Wilson on the outside as smaller, shorter receivers? I'm not saying it's impossible. Steve Smith made a career being a number 1. I don't prefer it. Seminole Zach also says, hold on. There we go. I'm ready to. What's this? Close that door. Close the door. Man. I'm ready to see some homegrown guys ball out on this team. Mike's great in the portal, but it's time we produce our own. Well, you got to develop them. Don't act like we haven't been produced. Pat Pate's not a homegrown guy. What about Kalen DeLoach? He's a homegrown guy. What about Shaheem Brown? He's a homegrown guy. Hakeem Dent's a homegrown guy. Ronaldo Green's a homegrown guy. I keep going. I hate when we do that. Robert Scott's been starting at left tackle for the last 4 years. Maurice Smith has been your center for the last 4 years. Do I have to continue to go on about don't feed into the narrative, my friend, that the rivals spit that we don't have any homegrown guys. You might as well get out of here. You might as well call Jordan Travis a homegrown guy. He's been your quarterback the last 4 years. Louisville didn't develop him. We did. I feel like they should move AZ to safety this summer. I called for AZ to go to safety months ago. Especially if you're going to move anybody. I think AC's skill set fits pretty well at safety, actually. What's up, Chad? Chris Robinson says Orlando on the check-in. My man with the $10 don't know. Heat in 5, man, you crazy. Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5, that's right. I said it.
Tallahassee, I'm with the Seminoles. I've been getting to this paper, focus on my goals. Trying to run this money up and pull up in a row. All this talking gangster, that shit getting old.
Adrian, hush it up. All right, man. So that's it, man. Those are the two guys that are the big portal guys that we talk about right now. Y'all Heat fans can go on with that. Y'all ain't finna come in here and start talking to me about basketball. All right, Knicks in 5. I said it. I'm standing on it. I don't care. Let's go and talk about. Let's talk about man what the conversation that we were having on Twitter, or at least the question I posed on Twitter. I didn't really engage, even though I posted it. I didn't engage in the conversation that was being had, man, because we just had a lot of people just say things. People just say things on Twitter. Jordan Travis, man, what do y'all think? Let's start the conversation this way. As of May 2023, what is today? May 3rd. May 3rd, 2023. The NFL draft for next year started today. Where's Jordan Travis? Let's have a real conversation, man. Where's Jordan Travis? Based on what we just saw in the NFL draft, AR went 4? We had not Caleb. I'm sorry. We had Bryce Young, Stroud. Levis fell to the second? Then Levis fell to the second round. Stetson Bennett was a 4th or 3rd. Oh, Stetson Bennett went in the 3rd, I think. Where'd Hendon Hooker go? 4th or 5th? Which is about where I thought he would go. Like, where do you think? Where do you think? Where do we think Jordan Travis 3rd round? Montre says 3rd round. Where do we think Jordan Travis goes? Will says 3rd or 4th. Is the Jordan Travis even draftable is he draftable? If he plays what everyone thinks, I think he'll go in rounds 2 through 5. Rose says 3rd. I want some more people to answer. Briley says 3rd. You know what I should have said? I should have said you can choose any round but the 3rd, because 3rd is that default round. See, 3rd is that round that same people said about Jamie. And I kept telling people, well, Jamie's more of a 4th or 5th round guy. But everybody was like, no, man, Jamie's going to go the third round because we're Florida State fans, right? And we give that 3rd round is like a nice buffer round. It's like we know he's not a 1st or 2nd. We don't want to say he's a 4th or 5th. So we'll just go a nice 3rd round because that's a quality play. That's a pretty good player, right? And I feel like we use that 3rd round as a default round. I really do. Whoa, ice cold. No, I don't know. Hold on, I gotta highlight this comment. If Bryce Young was draftable, are we doing this? This This is why this conversation is so funny. If Bryce Young, we're comparing Trav to Bryce Young. Okay. Interesting. The GOAT says 1st round. I said it. If I can't choose third, then it's a hard fourth round. Fourth or fifth, it will be tough, but that's depending on the year coming. There aren't 5 QBs better. Tyler says fourth. He's in the third. Bennett went in the fourth. Ice Cold, yeah, shit, started laughing because he knows that was some foolishness. Okay, man, let's kind of dig into it a little bit, man. So I saw Briley say there aren't 5 QBs better. And unfortunately, that doesn't matter in college football. I'm not asking you, is Jordan Travis the top 5 quarterback in college? I'd agree with you. I can definitely name. What are you doing? Yeah. Y'all just be trying to get on the camera. Slick. What's up, Zoe? But I'm not talking about top 5 quarterback in college. I mean, you got that. We're talking about NFL, right? And there's a reason why this time last year, Anthony Richardson, even before he played a game, was a top 5 quarterback for NFL scouts. And there's a reason for that. And that had everything to do with, and I know that Anthony Richardson is a tough conversation to have, and people dissect his game and what he wasn't. NFL scouts looked at what he was. Okay? And you're talking about an athlete that doesn't come around every so often. Now, I'm not going to compare Trav to AR because he's not that. He's a good athlete. I'd argue maybe even a great athlete, but he's not that. Anthony Richardson is a whole different lab experiment of an athlete. What does Jordan Travis bring that NFL scouts are going to look at, and really say that he's a top 5 draftable quarterback? So I'm not that high on Bo Nix 21. So I'm with you. Like, Bo Nix does nothing for me. Okay. I think Travis is a better quarterback than Bo Nix. I think Travis should probably have a higher draft grade than Bo Nix. Okay. So, but when we talk NFL, so for me, and I got to see some more guys, but right now, we're talking NFL. The top guys are Caleb, obviously, Drake May, and I think Quinn Ewers. And people will say, well, Quinn Ewers, he got a lot of get it. From a production standpoint, absolutely. I wouldn't say Quinn Ewers ranks higher than Jordan Travis as far as a college quarterback. What's up, Caveman? But I'm telling you, as an NFL scout, I promise you they're drooling over Quinn Ewers as we speak. I promise you. Don't let the production match the intangibles and what he has. And Quinn Ewers might be the number 1 quarterback on your board, folks. And I want us to look at it from that aspect and say, okay, so where does Jordan Travis really rank in terms of where the scouts might look at him? Galaxy says he has some of that Lamar magic he had at Louisville. JTrav has a better QBR than Bryce last year. Yeah, I get it. I promise you there's not an NFL scout that would take Travis over Bryce Young. Tyler says, my bad. JT doesn't have some of the tools scouts covet. He's going to kill the 40, but the rest of the combine, he's not going to set the world on fire. There you go. Now we're looking at it from a objective viewpoint here. Definitely not explosive as Lamar. Hold on. Let me get this. Forget about place to be drafted. Can Travis be a starting QB in the NFL in the right system? That's another great question. Again, so we're going to try to cover most of this stuff if we can. Jeff says, Jordan Travis, I think, if he was 6'4", and when he weighed in 225, he's first round pick. Again, I can't even say that because Bryce Young is what, 5'10", 170. He's number 1 overall pick. Kyler Murray, another small dude. They've been taking small quarterbacks for a few years now. More than that, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. So I can't go that. I think. Let me read some more comments before I continue. Hold on. Let me see some more. Y'all bear with me because I'm on my phone, so the window's a little smaller to look at these comments. Second round would be a second round would blow me out of the water. JT 3rd to 5, 4th would be great for him. There's a couple things for me that we're gonna have to wait and see with Jordan Travis. I actually think he can make a majority of the throws that are asked of him. I think he showed that. Last year was such a tremendous jump in what I thought. If you asked me this last year, I'll tell you right now, this time last year, I would have told you Jordan Travis goes undrafted. Decent college quarterback, but he goes undrafted. Fast forward to now, I definitely think he's drafted, but now I'm trying to figure out, okay, where would an NFL team covet him? I think he can make a majority of the throws that'd be asked of him. I think he's mobile enough. He's definitely mobile for the college game. I think that speed gets a little negated in the NFL. Jordan Travis is fast, but so are NFL linebackers. Okay, NFL linebackers, like Jordan Travis probably runs a solid 4.5 in the 40. Your NFL linebackers are all running that, if not faster, 4.4s and 4.5s. So speed gets a little negated in the NFL, in my opinion. One of the biggest questions I have for Jordan Travis is, and I don't know if Florida State's going to do this, and I don't know if they're going to put him on display. But the biggest question for Jordan Travis, in my opinion, is can he be the focal point of an offense? And some of y'all might be sitting there saying, what do you mean? He is Florida State's offense. Well, he's really not. As a matter of fact, if I ask you, what is the identity of Florida State's offense? Matter of fact, I'm going to ask you that in the chat. What is the identity of Florida State offense? What does Florida State do? What is the identity? We do what to be successful? I'll let y'all answer that while I read some of these comments that just came through. The GOAT says, so to be fair, wait till the end of the season. What if he takes – I mean, that's always possible, right? That's what I said. As of right now, where is he? Obviously, he has a whole season of football to play, so that's definitely a fair point. What's going on with you? He says, what's good? Good to see you. Good to see you too, man. I think he gets picked similar to how Hooker in Tennessee was picked. I could see Hooker went 5th or 4th, but I can see that. I think 4th would be a good round for, as of right now, I think 4th would be a good one. More likely 5th. Run game, run. There you go. So everybody knows what I'm talking about that. We're a run-first football team. Why is that important, though? So why is that important that I mentioned that we're a run-first football team? Well, I'm going to tell you why. FSU runs the setup pass. FSU runs the setup to pass. It makes your passing lanes easier. It makes your matchups on the outside easier when the safeties have to creep up, when backers can't drop as deep. That's a big deal. And I don't know for Jordan Travis's sake, Florida State would have to go to a pass to set up the run. Can Florida State become a pass-first team? Can we make safeties drop deeper than they need to be and set up the run? That, to me, if the offense all of a sudden became dictated or centered around Jordan Travis's arm, that would be the biggest indicator for NFL scouts of where you see him at the next level. Because now you're passing into more crowded throwing lanes. Now do you have the arm to fit in those tight windows that close like that? I think if you go watch a majority of Jordan's passes, if we're being honest, not a lot of tight balls have, you know what I'm saying, not a lot of tight throws. He's getting a lot of one-on-one matchups because teams have to account for the fact that Trey Benson and Trayshawn Ward was running wild. And we expect the same thing this year with a better O-line. So he got a lot of great one-on-one matchups, a lot of tight ends over the middle, wide open, because, again, the linebackers get sucked in. Pause. So I think y'all kind of understand what I'm saying. Can we reverse that? I don't necessarily want to reverse that just for the sake of Florida State being a winning football team. I think our identity should be running the football. But I think for Jordan Travis's sake, does he become the focal point of an offense? Meaning you put the ball in his hands and everything happens off of what he does. And then one thing I think he can do to help him that I want to see him for sure do this year, and we saw it in the Florida game, and I need this to happen in the Clemson game and the lights of the end. Like, don't lose it. When the ball's in your hands, you will your team to victory. That's something that maybe he can do. I don't know how much the NFL scouts are going to. I think they will definitely value that. They definitely always value a winner. It's the only reason Stetson Bennett goes number 4, because they value a winner and a guy who understands offense and can run an offense. NFL scouts definitely will value a game manager, as we like to call them. But look where the game managers get drafted. So if we want to consider Jordan Travis a game manager, which is very much what he potentially will be at the next level, people use that as a bad term, but it's really not. NFL scouts love it. But also, look, they're not taking game. Anthony Richardson didn't get drafted number 4 to be a game manager. He got drafted number 4 because he is a different breed of animal. Bryce Young can spin it. Stroud, great arm, throws a great, those guys do things at a different level. I don't know if Jordan Travis does anything at a different level. So I said all of that to say, Florida, we would have to center the offense around Jordan Travis for him to take that leap in the draft. I'm probably falling a little bit behind in the comment section, so let me catch up a little bit. Let's see what Galaxy talking about. I ain't seen Galaxy in a long time. Miami fan. Based on y'all's fan base expectation, he will be on the stage with some huge games next season with potentially a playoff berth. Well, that's not based on our – I like how you throw that dig in there, but, I mean, you can say, yeah, that's based on the fan base expectation, but last I checked, the college football expectation for Florida State is a top 10 team. So it's not just the fan base. The experts also believe that. But anyway, if he looks like he ended the year, I think he can slide into 3rd. Okay. We need another DN. Well, yes, that's not a part of this conversation, but I do agree with you. We could use an edge player. FSU Road doesn't see Bryce Young surviving in the NFL. We'll see. What's up, Born Legacy? 1 round, about 6. Man, Sandra, I love you, but first round, 6 pick. What are we talking about here? I'm just chilling. Will. Hold up. Let me show the comment. Okay, Will says the only way we see that is if LSU or Clemson force that this year, and JT shows up and balls out in the pass game, showing he can become the focal point beyond his run game. I don't think LSU or Clemson will do that. Look at last year with that great defensive line Clemson had. I know they kind of reload on the D line, but we expect we expect our O line to be even better. And even Clemson couldn't stop the run. Even when we were 5-7, we could run the football. Teams have really not been able to take the run from us because even if you shut down Trey, like Trayshawn was able to, he brings a different pace and vice versa. If the O-line's as good as we think, I don't think a team can stop the run. And therefore, I don't know if Jordan Travis gets the opportunity to show what I think he would need to show. I think JT has the X factor, and that counts for something. I think he could lead an NFL team, but he's just not a high draft pick. Jeff says, well, if you get Coleman, Johnny, and Bell, could be more pass happy, open up with the passing the ball, or we Paul for we could, but I doubt he would do that. Zach says, went back, watched the Florida game today, and damn, JT was not going to let us lose. And that's what I would, you will your team to victories. Hey, man, I'm all for that. Let's see what Jeffrey says here. Why? Because the pass isn't JT's strong point. He's a good college QB because he's developed his passing game, and the O-line has gotten him better. Shout out to the O-line. Yeah, I mean, I've never said he wasn't a good college QB. We're not talking about him in college. We're talking about where does he translate to the next level. And and Jeffrey, if your first sentence there or your first question is why, because the pass isn't his strong point, that's what we're going to lead off with. And we're talking NFL. Yeah, that's an indictment off the bat. That's probably not something Mike Norvell or Alex Atkins would say to an NFL scout asking about Jordan Travis. Well, his passing isn't his strong point. Oh, really? Okay. You just damned him. You just damned him. We've said from the beginning, this offense is set up so anyone can run the ball. Right. And Mike's going to run the ball. He's absolutely going to run the ball. And then Zoe says, I can't wait for JT to be able to drop the ball off to his tee and watch him house it. So, again, man, we ain't talking about Jordan Travis, the college quarterback. I think we're all in agreement. JT's a top 5 quarterback in college. And if I'm being honest, he's probably top 3. I think it's 1, 2, and then everybody else is on the same level when it comes to college. I think it's May and Caleb Williams. You can debate back and forth who you think's better. Me personally, I kind of think Drake May is better, just because he was the only thing North Carolina had. It was him or bust. And he had to do a lot with a little. Where Caleb had former Biletnikoff winner and, Riley went in the portal and loaded up an offense for Caleb Williams. So, but for me, it's those two. And then I think everybody else is on the equal playing field as far as college quarterbacks go. As far as college quarterbacks go. So what I'm really talking about is where does he look at the next level? And that's why I like Quinn Edwards, man. He can make a lot of money this year. Guys like Quinn Ewers, Bo Nix, you can keep that. That's trash. That's garbage. I mean, y'all might not like this one, but Shedeur Sanders is a guy you're going to want to watch. He's probably going to put up some numbers at Colorado. Penix over there at Washington, he put up big numbers last year. I think Utah's bringing their quarterback back. So there's some guys, man. I know we don't have to worry about Murder Mertz. So you ain't got to worry about Mertz. And there's a great question that Florida State fans they'll probably don't want to have. Again, we're not talking college, but who translates better to the NFL, TVD or Jordan Travis? I'll leave y'all with that question, man. Softball 8-7 at UF, 7-1 out. Okay. Didn't they win last? They won like last night or the other night. Jeffrey says, well, he's gotten better passing, thank God. But let's be honest, everybody knows what he does best. If Trent Dilfer can win, as strictly a game manager, hell, no. We're not having. So the conversation isn't can he play at the next level, because I think he can, and I'm with you guys like Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson. There's been guys. Hell, Matt Castle. Y'all remember that? My question is, where Trent Dilfer get drafted? I don't know the answer. I know somebody can Google it real quick. You know, I think Brad Johnson was a low draft pick if I remember correctly. Matt Castle, I think, was a 5th rounder if I remember correctly. Like, you get what I'm saying? You think Shedeur will have a good enough? Oh, I don't. But it's the Pac-12, so he's gonna put up numbers just because it's the Pac-12, man. Hate to hold on. I got you. I'm trying to bring up this. I'm trying to bring up this comment here. Here you go. Briley. All right, there we go. Hate to be that guy, but it's like nails on the chalkboard. Ewers is pronounced Ewers. Well, I don't care. I pronounce them Ewers. Quentin Ewers. The GOAT thinks it's easy. Is Jordan Travis. I hate to say it, but TVD. Rose says TVD. I went back and watched the Colorado stream. They was cooking you. They wasn't cooking nothing. They was in their feelings. Who's gonna be at the Bama and OSU QB? They're probably gonna get it. Bama don't really have a QB, so I'm not worried about it. I don't know, and I don't know who Ohio State's quarterback either. Not worried about those guys. TVD is Ken Dorsey 2.0. Interesting comparison. I don't see it though. Give me JT all over TVD. Ice cold. You tripping? Dilfer was drafted top 10 in '94. Was he? To Tampa. I know he was in Tampa. I didn't know he was a top 10 pick though. Good for him. Justin. Hold on. Justin, Aslan Baker's officially visiting May 12th, the JUCO safety. So that is, it's not this weekend, but that's next week. If TVD was smart, he would have. If he was smart, he would have left. He would have left Miami. Period. If you're a Bama fan, what are your expectations for this season? Are you asking the wrong guy there? TVD is a better quarterback, but Travis is a better system that works for him. So, in my opinion, I believe TVD transfer to the NFL a little smoother. TVD is a better quarterback. I think I'm gonna rephrase that for you because I think I kind of understand what you're trying to say. I think TVD has better tools than Travis. That to say he's a better quarterback, I mean, I don't. He's not a better decision maker than Jordan Travis. He hasn't shown that he's has better understanding of the game than Jordan Travis. I just think he has better tools. But if I was drafting, I would choose Jordan Travis over TVD. But I would definitely, I would argue Jordan Travis would want. I would need to draft him to a team that kind of has everything in place for him. Whereas TVD maybe can make something out of nothing, maybe. I have a lot of questions about TVD. He has the size. He has these things. TVD stares down his receivers. He tends to only target one receiver. Hey. Man, people need to get their dog. It ain't even my mutts. I don't know, man. I got a lot of questions with TVD. And I understand that system didn't help him last year. But the Rhett Lashlee system, I said it all along, made him look a little better. Just because he didn't have to do a lot of reads in Rhett Lashlee. It was Rambo or nothing. It was Rambo or nothing. Hey. Rambo or nothing. So we'll see, though. We'll see what he's going back to this sort of air raid or spread this year. We'll see what TVD does this year. Dorsey was a lot more mobile than Tyler Van Dyke is. I don't really see the similarities, but I mean, if that's what you see with your eyes, I just don't really see Dorsey and Kent. I don't see it. I wouldn't keep doubting JT. He already showed us he will improve his game. The first year TVD hype was a fluke. TVD not athletics and stare down receivers. UF has bases. Hold on, I can't see it. UF has bases loaded, 2 out, pop up, nose with. All right, shout out to the Lady Nose, man. They're doing way better than the damn baseball team. But Link's got to get time to get that baseball team right. I think we all can agree there. Link might have to do a Mike Norvell rebuild down there, that baseball team. Because it's a hot mess. They started off good, and then they just plummeted. But yeah, man, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. We ain't even really hit the hour mark yet. So hit that like button, y'all. Hold on. Y'all know what y'all got to do, man. You got to smash my like button.
Go your motherfucking ass to sleep. Whoa, shit, what the fuck good buddy hit me with? I told him I wasn't sleepy. He had to have a brick in that bitch.
Yeah, we have no pitching. No pitching, Tyler. Neither Florida nor Miami seems to be getting what they need out of the portal. Gators even giving scholarships to walk-ons. Y'all want to talk about some of that? If I'm Miami, and we'll get to the Gators, but if I'm Miami, man, you have to be. Now, the good thing about Miami, they are getting Taiwan Malone to visit them. And defensive tackle is a major need for them. And I think that would actually be a solid get for them. I low-key don't want him to get him because, I know he wasn't productive at Ole Miss, but he's still a big body. And that's something they don't have is big bodies. And I think our O-line, as it stands now, man, our O-line would maul Miami's defensive line right now. But if you get Taiwan Malone, who's a little bit of a space eater, you pair him next to Leonard Taylor, you could have a little bit something there. I don't think Taiwan Malone's D-Jack, but he's bigger than the 270-pounders they got in there right now. So that's kind of a good thing for them. That's kind of a good thing for them. And they did get a DB out of the portal. But he am I back? I got a phone call, so I had to give me a thumbs up, man, if y'all can hear me so I can go back to what I was saying. Got a phone call. Should probably call back. Can I hear me? No? Good sound, bad sound? Okay, I'm good. All right, thanks. What was I saying? They just got a DB out the portal from Oklahoma. So there's that. I think the issue with Miami is that receiver position. I think they really could use a guy like Coleman. Like Coleman would be a number one receiver for Miami if they could somehow get him on campus. I don't know if they have plans of trying to bring him in. The only other teams I think I've heard linked to Coleman, I think LSU was one. Us. There was one other team, man, but I can't remember. Was it? No, I can't remember who the other team was. I know he's from Louisiana, so I know LSU was one. And I know we were one. And I feel like there's a third team involved there. And it wasn't Miami. I think Miami's got to address that receiver position, and I don't feel like they're really addressing it, and that could be a big deal. But they're trying, man. Miami's doing a better job than Florida's doing. Florida has been a hot mess all off season. Florida's been Is it Bama or Oklahoma? I think was the team. I don't think it was Bama. Was it? I think it was Oklahoma was the other team that I saw. If I'm Coleman, there's no way I go to Bama because they don't have a quarterback. Oklahoma probably makes more sense. I think they still got your boy that was at UCF over there. He was kind of giving us fits in that bowl game, so I think Oklahoma probably was the other one. LSU for Coleman. I know LSU's for Coleman. So, but Florida, man, Florida has been an absolute dumpster fire in every aspect, from the transfer portal to it's just I don't know, man. Their own beat is there's and you know how the beat writers are, y'all. Y'all know how beat writers are. They will spin it to make a trash coach the next Jesus. You know how the media does it. I mean, you saw it with Mike when Mike first started, and it just was not going very well. But the media would tell you that everything was sunshine and rainbows, right? Now, eventually, we got to last year, got to 10 wins. We expect to continue that momentum going forward. But the point is, the media is not even on Billy Napier's side. Like, they think he is all but done here. They've called him out. The UF media's called him out. One of the O linemen that went to Colorado called out Billy and said they do a lot of fake and phony stuff. He didn't call out Florida by name, but I mean, you transfer from Florida and say that other schools got being phony, but Colorado kept it real. I mean, dare I say, who are you implying? It's not going well for Billy. And as far as I'm concerned, Florida should keep Billy around for the next 5 years. You just had a quarterback go top 5 in the draft, and you won 6 games with him. You won 6 games with him because you handicapped him. You didn't let him play his style of football. And yes, continue to keep Billy Napier around, man. Please continue to keep Billy around. I am here for it. Yeah, man. Florida bragged about having all these players drafted only to win 6 games. And you should have got blanked 30-0 by Oregon State, but you kicked the field goal. Shout out to Billy, man. If that's what you're going to do with talent, keep Billy around forever. Keep Billy around forever. That's another thing. I guess somebody they were targeting in the portal who was a big position of need for him. Again, this is all story, so I'm just telling you what I heard, and y'all might have heard the same stories. I guess they wanted film of him instead of just like, I don't know, recruiting the kid. Hey, man, continue to run your program how you see fit, Billy. I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you. I heard they got a good safety. Can we steal him? They got the safety from Michigan. Whether he's good or not, you can go back and watch and be the judge. I think people see Michigan and think, oh, he must have been a good player. What's up, champ? Not only did he have top 5 QP, he also had a top O lineman, a good running back. Yeah, Billy had talent, man. I told y'all last year Billy had a bunch of talent on that team. He just mismanaged it. How could you not just build around the offense? When you handcuff a guy like Anthony Richardson, that's the result you get. And some teams squeaked out a win at home. Bro, I don't care if you win by 33. Last time I checked, one team gets a check in the win column, the other team gets a check in the loss column. I'm sorry they're sports-centric. You might not like the facts, but the facts remain. RJ Moulton went to UF. Kind of wanted to see him here. I don't know why, but if that's what y'all want to see, that was Dan Mullen's talent too. Year 3 will tell us more about my head guy and Gainesville head coach. You think so? I mean, fair enough. You know, before they started paying coaches $10 million a year, that's what you got. You know, you got 3-4 years to build a program. I think the problem is Jimbo Fisher, who reset the coaching market. Now every major coach at a major program, their base salary starts off at $8 million. The problem is when you paying a coach $8, $9, $10 million a year. I don't know. I don't know if I've asked you this before, Galaxy, but if we keep it a buck, let's just keep it 100. Did Miami pay the buyout for Mario and invest all the financials around Mario and spent all that money on that greatest coaching staff of all? Did Miami do all of that to go 5-7 in year 1? Or is Mario supposed to come in and take off? Now, to your point, or I don't know if you're making this point, Miami's not getting rid of Mario. It's just not happening. Not happening, right? But what I'm asking you is, did they do all of that to go 5-7? And now all of a sudden say, well, this is a complete rebuild because Cam Kitchens and James Williams and Leonard Taylor and Tyler Van Dyke and Restrepo, all of these Manny Diaz players. I just named your best players on the team. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know. If you add Willie Tallard's salary and Mike Norvell, it's the same amount. Well, Mike's getting $8 million a year now, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're implying there, but see, Tyler, we all heard coming into the game was how all the receivers hurt. Now y'all blow ass and didn't have any talent. As a fan, we want that, but that's not realistic. Well, it is realistic. Now, I agree with you that it's not always realistic, right? I do agree with you. And every coaching situation is different. It's like when Mike Norvell took over. If we keeping it a buck, Mike Norvell took over, and he had a hodgepodge of talent on that team. He had a mix of Jimbo guys who had already been burnt. You had Willie Taggart guys who felt burnt. Mike Norvell took over, and Mike Norvell's situation would have been crazy even without COVID. And then you stack on COVID with this mixed up roster. Poof. Mike Norvell took over an interesting situation. Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal took over fairly stable programs. Like, I know y'all try to paint it as if these programs are in disarray. No, y'all just weren't happy with the head coach, and that's fine. But it's not like these programs were unstable and y'all had no talent on these rosters. As you just saw what Billy Napier inherited with all the draft picks he just had. This time last year, Miami was a top 10, 15 team or whatever they were, right? So I think, we say it's unrealistic, but Sonny Dykes went to the national championship with the first-year team. We say it's unrealistic, but then Sonny Dykes goes to the national championship at TCU in a first-year team. Mike Elko wins 7-8 games at Duke with a first-year team. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Y'all shut up. Galaxy says, hold on. Year 3 told you guys everything you need to know about your guy. That's realistic timetable for any head coach at any level. You didn't say anything wrong there, right? I don't disagree with you. I think all coaches should probably get 3 years. Like Willie should have got 3 years. I was not a fan of them firing Willie that early, even though I thought he was. You could tell he was in over his head early. I still thought, you give him his 3 years. Obviously, nobody knew COVID was coming. I still stand on what I say. You don't fire Willie Taggart that early just to hire Mike Norvell. I still stand on that, but that's neither here nor there at this point. So I agree. Most, if not all, coaches should get that first 3 year, that buffer, so to speak. I'm just saying that Gus Malzahn took a team to the national championship in his first year, and he played Florida State. I'm just saying, like, it happens. The notion that you need 3 or 4 years. Again, every situation is different. It happens. It happens. It's 117 Division I colleges. You name 2 or 3. Are there 117 job openings? So of course, how many job openings? Okay, I can name others. I can name Lincoln Riley, first year head coach, won 11 games. I can name Brian Kelly, first year head coach at LSU, won the SEC West. Like, I can name more coaches if you want me to. If you want me to go after every team that had a job opening, we can run down the list. I was just naming, a few of those lower schools that didn't have that expectation. TCU had no expectations. Duke had no damn expectations. I didn't name USC and LSU because those teams has expectations. Miami had expectations, and if we're being 100%, let's see, dog. Hey, sit down. If we're being 100%, not Oregon. I'm sorry. Well, Oregon too. Dan Lanning, first time head coach, and what did he do? So I can name the point. Shut it up. They're not going to shut up till the dog walks away. Sorry. To my point, though, Oregon, Dan Lanning, first time head coach. To my point, I can name a bunch of teams. Only name those teams. There weren't 117 job openings. The dogs made me forget my whole traction of what I was trying to say. So, whatever. Here we are. It'll come back to me. I guess. It'll come back to me. Don't even remember where I was at. Stupid mutts. Yeah, I don't understand how people think you should be able to turn a team around in a year. That's unrealistic. After hearing what D-Jack said, Willie deserves 3. I agree. Willie did deserve. I agree with you. Again, after everything comes out, Willie probably didn't deserve 3, but he should have got 3. At the end of the day, he should have got 3. You ought to be able to hold the status quo if the team was 7-8 win team the year before you take over. There's no reason Mario Napier should have regressed with decent to good rosters. Mario's still in the honeymoon stage. He can do no wrong. He's in the honeymoon. I don't think so. I don't think he's quite in the honeymoon stage, as people might think. I think Miami fans have been. I think this has been one of the most humbling experience from Miami fans. If you haven't noticed, I think Miami fans have not been as boisterous this offseason as they were the last few off seasons for sure. And that's why you hear a lot of the rebuild talk from a lot of the Miami fans, right? You hear a lot of the well, we got to give Mario time because I think like some real stuff is starting to sit in. Like, okay, like this is what we have to do. And we just watched the team up north go through some trials and tribulations, and then they kind of exploded on the scene in year 3. And now they have these huge expectations in year 4, and we'll see how that plays out. And I think they kind of looking at it as, okay, again, two completely apples to orange situations between what Mario took over and what Norvell took over. But I think it's just a big piece of humble pie that Miami fans have eaten right now. If you're being honest, I really think that's what it is. Right, man. I got these dogs here. Big dogs barking. Galaxy back with it. He says I can do the same thing, naming coaches, and my number will be much greater than yours. But yeah, it's expectations to every rule. Exception, sorry. But that can't be the expectation for the first year coach. Hell, your program an example. Again, apples to oranges. Everybody takes over a different program. Well, I think that was the point I was trying to make for the dogs threw me off. Everybody takes over different situations. That's the point I was trying to make. I'm sorry. Ed O left LSU in shambles. That LSU job, Ed Orgeron, that thing was going down the toilet. So I think that was the point I was trying to make before the dog started barking. You just reminded me. It's all about it's all about what you take over, the foundation that was there. Willie had a tough job because Jimbo had the foundation in ruins. And then Willie didn't do himself any favors, and then bam, Norvell takes over a complete, utter mess. That thing had to be tore down. I don't think Miami was a mess. I mean, I know y'all are trying to spin it as if Miami was a mess. I really don't think Miami was a complete shit show when Mario took it over. No dogs, lots of bark. No, well, they're not my dogs, but hey, John, that's an interesting comment you just made there because I've been hearing y'all bark for the last couple years and y'all ain't bit shit. Y'all ain't bit a damn thing. I mean, I don't want to bring this is not about a Willie thing. Yeah, but if you want to look at what he did at FAU, then the firing was definitely justified. I do think, though, if they knew COVID was going to happen, I think you keep him on for that year, though. I'll say that. But ultimately, it looks like the right move was made. They were six. Hold on. They were 6-7 before and went 6-7 after. Who was 6-7 before? Are you talking about Florida? That Florida went 6-7 2 years in a row? I guess excuses are the only valid for one side. If you're talking about Florida, I don't even know what that comment has to do with any damn thing. Because my simple rebuttal to the Florida, that comment is, how many guys did y'all have drafted? Was there talent on Florida, yay or nay? That's my question. Was there talent, yay or nay? Because apparently y'all had a bunch of talent. We got about 10 more minutes, man, and I'll wrap this up as somebody pulling into the driveway. My woman pulling into the driveway. Let's read this one. It's a long comment. The way FSU was hey, shut up. You're not going to bite. You're not going to do nothing. Hush. The way FSU was left to Norvell versus Billy and Mario is night and day different. Much bigger rebuild at FSU. Manny had Miami in a better situation. And Dan surely left UF in a better situation. I agree with that. I definitely agree with this. I think Miami would definitely be better than Florida. Miami was a plug-and-play job. And Mario failed. Miami fans said it wasn't no talent, but we just watch guys get drafted. What's up, Insane? It's getting dark in the background. So we're going to cut it here short, but I want to get to these last comments, y'all, and we're going to get up out of here. We've been on for almost an hour 30. But year 3 will be telling. But if year 2, we are getting smashed by 40 and losing to middle 10 C-types programs, I'm with y'all. Okay. I think that's all the comments. Millie told R. Davies, hold on. I think he said, want to say, shut your snitch ass up. We've landed 4 or 5 stars after going 5 and 7. Donuts, not delusions. Okay. Shout out to Hurricane Millie. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. What did you say, R. Davies? My bad. I cut myself out. But I'm back. So don't worry about it. But yeah, man. That's basically, man, all I wanted to get off my chest tonight. So we talked about the visits that we got. We just found out that I guess one of the JUCO safeties, I forget his name, but he'll be visiting next week. But we got Key, Jalen Key, I believe it is, and Coleman visiting this weekend. Two big needs for. Well, Key's a big need. I don't think Coleman's a big need, but it's definitely something we can definitely use. And then we talked about Jordan Travis to the NFL and kind of where he fits in this whole where he may fit in this whole draft next year. As of right now, I think if Jordan Travis is a 4th round pick, I think that's a success. It's hard for me to go anything higher than 4 right now based on what we have right now. Now, he has a whole season ahead of him to up that draft stock. And the things that he does well, man, he does well. Smart player, intelligent player, can actually read the field and make great decisions, fairly accurate. The problem is I don't know if he has the elite tools to make him a second. Definitely not a 1st round pick. I don't know. He would have to do some insane stuff for him to be a 1st rounder. So I don't see that. Don't see second. Maybe with a great year, he can sneak in that top half of the 3rd round. But as of right now, man, I think he's played his way to the draft. I think he's a draftable player. I just don't know if he's higher than a 4th. If you would have asked me this time last year, yeah, I don't see Jordan Travis even being draftable this time last year. But here we are, and I definitely think he's draftable. And I definitely think he has a chance to really up his draft stock. I would question how much, but I think he has a chance. That's kind of what we talked about in summary here tonight. Then I just read the comment section for probably the last 30 minutes and just went back and forth with you guys about Miami, Florida. And I haven't done that in a while. I haven't engaged Miami fans in a while because, to be fair, Miami fans haven't shown their face here for the last, May? So since December, January, February, March, for about half a year. Because we played y'all in November, December, January, February, March, April. Yeah, so for last half a year, for the last 6 months, y'all went ghost on me. Now y'all are showing up again. Shout out to Miami fans. I appreciate y'all for coming in here and engaging. But y'all have been MIA, man. So I decided to engage y'all tonight and do a little back and forth. And then we had some good conversation. Shout out to Galaxy King. Hurricane Millie came a little late, so I think he missed most. He either missed the conversation or he wasn't a part of it. But shout out to Galaxy King for talking. New King don't ever come around no more. Shout out to New King. New Prince. I mean, New Prince will show up. He'll show up eventually, but he hasn't been around. I didn't see Kane Zay. Zay is the only Miami fan who's usually in every single stream. Shout out to Zay. Zay shows up almost every stream I do. He's the only Miami fan that I see in here on a routine basis. But shout out to Miami fans who made it here tonight. We even had a Florida fan in here tonight. Sports Centric, I think his name was. Shout out to him. Don't usually have a bunch of Florida fans in the chat. So that's why I started engaging the comments and talking a little Florida, Miami, because it was good to see y'all back in the building. There's John. There you go. I haven't seen John in years. Shout out to John. If he does listen, he doesn't comment that much anymore. I forgot John showed up for a little bit. So shout out to John. But that's all I got for y'all tonight, man. So y'all hit my like button if you didn't hit it on the way in. Please hit it on the way out. As always, man, it's your boy POLK. This Friday, of course, me and T2Y. So y'all know, man, check me and T2Y out. I don't have no idea what we'll be talking about this week. I let T2Y come up. I usually let T2Y, man, come up with the topics, and I just spitball from there. So y'all looking for me and T2Y. Look forward to me and T2Y on Friday. That'll be the next stream, most likely, man. But yeah, man. As always, it's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles, and I'm gonna go watch some basketball, man. We out here. Go Noles.